what is the biggest mistake you can do while vibe coding if you actually want to turn it into a profitable, scalable business? Well, first of all, what is vibe coding? Well, it's the concept that Andrew Carpathy, one of the founding members of OpenAI, introduced earlier in 2025. And it's about actually just, walking around city and maybe come up with a cool idea that, hey, maybe I could, for instance, on my spending, make an app that would track it. Like, for instance, I like to do investing and savings, or it could be when you're working out that you want a personalized application for yourself, so you could track your workouts. And so, for instance, I like to do investing. I like to invest in traditional assets and also more high tech assets as well. And then on training side, I like to keep track on my biohacking routine. I also like to work on the muscle up world record, which I've been training for on this channel. So number one, that the mistake that you can do while vibe coding is that you don't actually set a specific use case for it. So how do you set a use case if you actually want to monetize it? Well, it is actually that you should be able to narrow down very specific that what is the problem you want to solve. And typically, here's a few things you want to do. So if you're a no coder, then it's actually about being able to do it so specific that when the code breaks, you can actually do all of the troubleshooting, getting it to work quite easily. So it is three things here inside when you do it. So number one is, of course, speed of iteration. You want to be first to market, and then you also want to make sure that the quality of the product is great, and then the scope. So those three, you can't do all of them three because you're building your minimum viable product. And what is that? Well, here again, it's about doing a specific use case that you could potentially monetize. So, for instance, the best way to do this is I like to track my workouts on the muscle up, or I like to also track my investment as a founder, as I have a gaming company, and then also I like to invest in different assets. So I actually did pick one thing I like to do. So I have huge respect of Warren Buffett, and he uses sort of these mental models on how you should be approaching, for instance, investments. So I actually made, you can find below in the description, the vibe coding application I made for investments. It's the first version of it, so expect there to be some bugs, and it's not investment advice, of course not. But there you can see that it's at the beginning. It's solving my own pain point. I know people like to do investments. And I understand that people like to invest like Warren Buffett. But then I take it a little bit further because value investing, which Warren Buffett does, has been not as profitable, for instance, compared to investing in high speculative, to some degree, tech stocks. So I made it into an app like that. So that's like number one, what you want to do if you actually want to do and build a vibe coding application that you could monetize. And then finally, when you think about vibe coding, you need to of course experiment it with it. So you can't just be like, all right, so quickly just launch a product. You also need to test out different ideas. And again, here, it's the easiest way to test out is to actually solve a pain point that you feel in your own life. Hey, this is something that should be solved. You try it on yourself, and you make the feature set for the app as limited as possible. So, for instance, I could have made the application, which I recommend that you check out. I made it so simple that it didn't have estimates for a specific company of the year. It would, estimate all revenue, margins, cash flow, ownership, and so on, and give a recommendation of the stock. No, I kept it very simple, and that's how I can actually measure the market traction. So let me know below what you like to vibe code. How are you taking the chances of building something with this enormous potential technology? and how are you planning to actually distribute it? Because it's about building the product itself, but it's also about getting viewers, users to the product itself.